What is up, everyone? It's Lovenji here, and I'm excited to bring to you another mission from Populous the Beginning, Undiscovered Worlds. This time it's Mission 4, World Wide Web, and probably one of my favorite missions in this expansion because it actually makes us think differently for once and actually get out there and be as aggressive as the AI can be in the early game sometimes. Let's get this underway. So this is Mission 4, World Wide Web, and it's probably my favourite of the bonus missions, or at least one of my favourites. It has a very interesting mechanic in that you cannot build training huts, and instead there are 3 totem poles. You've just seen the first one dotted across the map, and praying at each one in intervals actually gives you followers. So the one that we're going for will give us warriors. There's another one that we can access that would give us fire warriors, but we're going to concede that to the Chimera. And there's one way out of our reach that gives preachers. Now, the reason they've designed the level like that is really quite simple. It's far easier to get you to deal with early preachers than it is to expect the AI to be able to deal with early preachers. You get one preacher in the AI, and secure that down, the AI will not be able to do anything about that, whereas the AI... the developers expected you to be able to handle preachers much better. And I think that's absolutely correct. And then when there's the choices between warriors or fire warriors, warriors win out every time, because for every 1 warrior we get, they need to get like 6 fire warriors for it to be effective. Most fire warriors are great for assassinating shaman. Warriors are going to do the most of our fighting, and therefore most of our killing, building destruction, all the damage, and so we are building up at home a little bit just to gain mana. We do still need mana, nowhere near as much as we normally do. And we're just going to speed up a touch. Now, the reason we're speeding up a touch is quite simple. All I'm doing at this point is just gathering large groups of followers. Because you can't train followers, the developers were quite generous and they gave you a large amount of wild men to convert, just to keep populations high and production available. So all we're doing is converting, launching a small attack on the Dakini, and trying to make sure that we build the tribe up as we go along. As you can see, we're gaining warriors, and I'm just switching out warriors for braves on the praying job so that I can continue building my tribe. We are going to need access to the mana. And we're just doing some casual destruction. I always attack the Dakini first, because they contest you for the warrior totem pole. And I really just want to get that one locked down. Once you get that locked down, you can then start to fight the Chimera for the fire warrior totem pole. When you've got warriors and fire warriors, preachers are no longer a problem, and that's when you win the game. And that's what we'll be doing for this mission. We won't be doing anything particularly fancy or complicated. What we do technically constitutes as a rush, but it's not even that rushy, it's just the way the mission breaks down. Now, the Dakini play very aggressive, and they are actually in the middle of attacking the Chimera and fighting the Chimera for the Preacher totem, which is why we're now just taking complete advantage of that and destroying their tribe while they're not around. Additionally, as with the main missions, the AI likes to favour it, well, the developers like to favour the AI with the number of wild men available, so we're using this opportunity to get into the Dakini base and actually take all of their wild men converts to significantly increase our population. This will increase the rate at which we build huts and also increase our fighting power. And our mana regeneration, of course. Mana regeneration being important, so long as our braves are active, they will be generating mana. Not quite quick enough to stop the first convert, but we can dispatch that warrior quite quickly and knock that preacher into the water. And then we go back to praying. Again, we always want to be generating. It's one of the few times you'll see me religiously prioritize praying to totem poles, because we absolutely need the followers. And with that, we're speeding up again, because I'm just going to start building up my tribe as the Dakini have been taken out. We take a little bit of damage because somehow the Chimera have managed to generate an earthquake already. And all we're doing is just building up our tribe's population, or our tribe's trained population, This is why the mission is called World Wide Web, by the way. It's a number of very thin alleys all connected in a thin web-like manner, and they will be connecting them even further with land bridges. The Dakini also do this if you leave them alive. We did not. So our main concern is to just stop these little attacks. The Chimera are going to be constantly attacking with the Fire Warrior Preacher combination. Until we gain our own Fire Warriors, it's very important we keep the Shaman alive, because if we die, it doesn't matter how many warriors we have, they have Preachers, we do not. So the Shaman is our tool for dealing with Preachers at the moment. So right now we're fighting over the security of the Fire Warrior Totem. As you can see, that's my tribe in the horizon, and you can see I've built a warrior training hut. The defeat of the Dakini and securing the totem pole for long enough allows us to eventually build the training hut. So we don't need to secure that totem pole, but it's actually easier because you don't need mana to generate those. The people praying at the totem count as working and therefore are also generating mana. So it's actually more mana efficient in terms of regeneration and the like to do it this way. Now all I'm doing is, as said, trying to secure this totem pole. And as you can see, my tribe's population has really started to build up. You've got a large number of warriors and a large number of fire warriors, and I was starting, as you may have noticed by the lack of speeding up, I'm starting to consider casting a land bridge at them. I'm starting to consider pushing in with what I have. Now, that's really quite easy at this point. As you can see from her last attack force, she's attacking far too frequently for the special units that she's generating, and she's attacking me with units now composed almost entirely of Braves. We'll see the occasional Preacher on our attack, but I take that as a signal that we can go in and start dealing some real damage, which we do. You may notice that this is probably one of the few missions you'll see me actually relying on my followers. Using a lot of light damage and clever lightning spells to knock shamans into water, but ultimately it's going to be the followers that deal the destruction here. I don't even go to charge up some of the more devastating spells for a while. Now I'm aware that doing that loss caused me to lose a few warriors, but what I was concerned about was I thought my shaman was in combat and wouldn't have made it in time, and I didn't want them to start getting an army of warriors. So we are just slowly making headway, using the fact that we have trained men to their braves to our advantage. One warrior can cut down several braves, so an army of warriors will do very well. The addition of fire warriors, as you may have noticed, fire warriors make normal braves lift off slightly, so they take the fire damage and a small amount of landing damage. And in that time they're not punching the warriors, so they actually increase the warriors' longevity even more by interrupting the combat repeatedly. A small group of fire warriors can be used to assassinate shaman on this map. If you give them a command to move next to and then all fire at once like that, you can push her right out into the water. That's a common multiplayer technique. Fire warriors won't fire until given the order to, so if you ask them to move repeatedly, you can move them right next to someone who's not paying attention to their shaman and all fire at once, and instead of taking a little bit of fire warrior damage, you should take all that fire warrior damage at once. Now it does just take time here at this point. We've already won, basically, and we're just pushing into the enemy tribe and focusing on huts, because huts are generating followers, and it's follower generation that I'm particularly concerned about. I quote-unquote waste a lightning on that Preacher just because I could see where he was going to the totem pole. I don't particularly want to have to pull back from my attack at this point, because I'm just trying to do as much damage in as little time as possible. I'm fully aware that I'm recording. I don't want to be dragging this mission out unnecessarily, because that's when I speed things up, and I'm aware I've already sped things up in this mission a couple of times. So I'm being very mindful about where I cast that lightning, mostly because I was worried the preacher was going to push me in the water, so I actually decide to let them fight it out a little bit until I get a favourable angle. I think I can survive, and then I blast the preacher away. And at this point I'm just trying to interrupt their praying at the totem pole. The main reason I'm doing that is because I don't want any more preachers coming towards my followers. If I can keep the Chimera on just Braves, then I don't even need to worry about keeping my Shaman alive necessarily. I can win this mission outright. So my Shaman goes down, but I'm convinced I've got all the preachers, so now I can just finish the mission. I'm really happy with the Shaman to die there because I don't need her for as long as I'm sure that the Chimera no longer have preachers. And even now, with the amount of Fire Warriors that I have, I'm pretty sure. I'm also really confused by why they're not firing. There we go. I'm pretty sure that she looks like she's having fun. I'm pretty sure I've got enough Fire Warriors to be able to deal with the Chimera's preachers, even if they had any at this point, because they would only have 1 or 2, and I'm in double-digit Fire Warriors, definitely in double-digit warriors at this point. As you can see, I'm not even praying anymore. I've just given the all-in command, because now it's all about hut destruction. And because we haven't been charging our mana, hut destruction is entirely follower-focused. So this mission, I think, is a really interesting mission. It relies on a few mechanics. It makes you have to know how to command your followers. It also makes you think about prioritization, where you're actually fighting. It's one of the few times I think RTS games have done the whole fighting on multiple fronts thing very well. In other missions where we've been forced to fight on multiple fronts in the main campaign, you've seen my tactic has just been to reposition my tribe so that it is no longer multiple fronts. And this one, because of how connected the world is, and because the AI has been told it can and will use land bridge, you get this very interesting multiple fronts, really aggressive AI, really fun mechanic because you can't just turtle up and train your own followers, because you actually have to get out there and secure the special followers. So that about brings the end to the mission. I will be quiet now and let the mission close out. So that was Mission 4, World Wide Web, and as you can see, well, I don't think it needs much more explaining as to why I love that mission so much. We're going to be closing out this series. I've been recording the next series actually this past weekend, and I'm really looking forward to showing you some of that once we're through with Populous. The spoiler was on my Twitter, so go check that out. Anyway, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see me do in later videos. Bye for now.